The Mount Pleasant Craft Beer Festival is one of the coolest events in Mount Pleasant. It is 100% a philanthropic event in downtown Mount Pleasant that brings the entire community together. So we like to call it a classy beer and now wine tasting event that takes place in one of the big parking lots in downtown Mount Pleasant. We raise a lot of money that gets put right back into the community, and people come and they feel good about themselves because they are, giving their part back to the community, but also having a really fun time trying some really great alcohol brands and some really awesome food and listening to some great music. We have to get upwards of about 200 volunteers a year for this event, so we are very thankful for all the participation from different organizations that provide the volunteers and also just community members. But they're greeted by our volunteers, and they're given a glass that is provided by the Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation, and that's their tasting glass. They're also given 6 drink tickets that they can go around from tent to tent and sample all these delicious brands of beer and wine. This was our 3rd year. So 2016, we started 3 years ago. We really embrace any feedback we're given. So after the first year, we were given the feedback that people really wanted more ciders. So we said, sure, we'll bring more ciders. So we recruited more ciders. After last year, we were given the feedback that people really wanted wine there. So we said, why not? So we brought wine. So that was the big change going into this year compared to the previous years, is that we did bring wine. We ended up having 5 wineries on board, and I think they had a great time, and the feedback we have so far is that people really enjoyed them being there. This really, truly brings the community together. Number one, you have just your average Mount Pleasant citizen who thinks it's a cool event, so they decide to volunteer their time to work it. Then you have Mount Pleasant business owners who think it's a really neat event, and so they decide to be sponsors. And then you have all these other philanthropic organizations, such as the Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation, who thinks it's a really cool event for a good cause. So then they get on board and they join the committee and they become a sponsor. And then, of course, you have the 1,600 to 1,800 patrons that come. And it's not just the Mount Pleasant community, but it's the surrounding community. So you have this eclectic group of folks that come together for one purpose, and it truly is amazing. The Mount Pleasant JCs is the junior chamber. So what we're a group of volunteers and individuals that we get together every month and have meetings. But what we do is we provide financial benefits across the community by raising money at events such as the Mount Pleasant Craft Beer Festival. We try to aim our donating to children, but it's not limited to children's organizations, and it's a group of individuals that are 40 and under. The Mount Pleasant Area Community Foundation is a huge supporter of this event. They've been a very large sponsor every single year, including this year, so they've been an amazing community partner. If anybody wants to get involved with the Mount Pleasant Beer Festival or the JCs, you can visit the Mount Pleasant Craft Beer Festival website, which is mpbeerfest.com, or the Mount Pleasant JCs have their own Facebook page, so feel free to reach out to anyone on those sites.